I have this problem where the boat is at anchor perpendicular to the wind, where the mast will start shaking and the spreaders will start shaking. Now this happens to me because I'm in a river and the current will hold the boat with the current. The wind will blow from the beam and the current is too strong to allow the boat to spin into the wind. So if the bow is into the wind, I'm fine, no mast shaking. If the wind is right off the beam, the whole mast will go, and the spreaders will shake, and the whole boat will shake. You'll feel the whole boat shake. Now, after a lot of research and a lot of trial and error, I've solved this problem. Or I don't know if I've solved it, but I've eliminated it from me. What the problem is something called the von Karman effect, or vortex shedding. Vortex shedding is a phenomenon when the wind blows across a structural member, vortices are shed alternately from one side to the other, and where alternating low pressure zones are generated on the downwind side of the structure, giving rise to a fluctuating force acting at right angles to the wind direction. Now I don't know what any of that means. What it is so if the mast is here, the wind comes from this direction. On the opposite side of the mast, alternating low pressure zones are formed. And what that does is that then creates the mast to go like this. And as that, it's kind of like a harmonic resonance, it will continue to build. And that's your vortex shedding. So you'll see sometimes chimneys or smokestacks will have you've probably seen this, a spiral staircase going around them, or a spiral pipe going around them, or a big, almost like a crow's nest on the top, or somewhere down the side, or a enclosed ladder down the side. And those are specifically there to stop this vortex shedding. Big towers like that and smokestacks have actually fallen down because this creates this harmonic resonance that shakes the thing apart and it'll fall down. A famous example of that is the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, which collapsed partially because of this vortex shedding. There was something else involved there called aeroelastic fluttering or something like that. The vortex shedding. So the same thing happens with your mast, and the solutions are similar. So what people have done is they've taken halyards and they wrap it spirally around the mast from the head of the mast down to the gooseneck to stop this shaking. The problem with me on this boat, this is a Hallberg Rossi 36 with a Selden mast, is I've got two spreaders, double spreader rig. So I can't wrap a halyard above the top spreader or between the two spreaders. The best I could do would be to wrap that halyard around the bottom part of the mast from the lower spreader to the boom. That's not enough to do it. Obviously my problem is above this first spreader. So what I've done here, I'm going to show you, is I've taken two fenders and I've hoisted them up the spinnaker halyard. Now I got a large fender and a small fender, but that was only because that was what I happened to have in the cockpit locker. I've hoisted them up and then I've secured them with a winch down at the base of the mast, so it's tight, so they don't bang up against the mast in the wind. The big fender is slightly below the upper spreader, and the small fender is slightly above the upper spreader. And they're, like I said, they're cinched tight, and this has stopped my mast from shaking. It's just like a miracle cure for me, because it was really bothering me. It was, you'd lay in bed and the whole boat would shake, and you think, well, hell, the whole rig's going to fall down. But this has stopped it. And so what that means is you don't need new shrouds and stays. You don't need a rigger to come check out your rig. You don't need spreaders or a new mast. You don't need to sell the boat. This is the solution, or at least a temporary fix, until the wind angle changes or dies. I thought about using some pool noodles, and I could hoist them up the mainsail track, maybe put sail slugs on them and just hoist them up the mast so they'd be snug to the mast. But I didn't have any pool noodles and it's windy, so I just tried it with the fenders and it's worked for me. So in the information section below this video, I'll post links to the information on the von Karman effect and vortex shedding, so you can read about it. There's also an article from Selden Mast about it. They've got a product that they run up the Mast track to help solve it. And so I hope this helps you. It helped me. Peace. Cheers.